Hello, everybody. Welcome to session 2 of Masks, the Best Worst Summer. We are here on a Gauntlet Hangouts. We are participating in a game that is part of the Gauntlet Comics overarching meta series. And we are here with a team of players from the Gauntlet. A Gauntlet is a group of folks online who like to get together, play games, talk about games, and generally have a good time together. If you want to find out more about us and the Gauntlet, you can take a look at gauntlet-rpg.com. We have all sorts of things going on. We've got forums, we've got a Patreon, we've got Codex, the magazine, we've got the Slack, we've got just all sorts of games going on all the time. Come on, have fun with us. Now, we are in session 2 of this, meaning that we've got a little bit done last time. We got the full run of character creation done for our 3 returning players. We do have 1 new player this time. John will be joining us, and we'll do player introductions again in just a moment, and then we'll get into character introductions. I'll do a quick explanation of the safety tools that we'll be using again this session, and then we'll get into some basic introductions for the actual characters. We'll get into a couple of character building and scene building questions for John's character, and then we will get started with the story where we left off. All right. Let's see if we'll go from kind of left to right on the character keeper order. If you guys would be ready to introduce yourselves, starting with Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex Meltzner. He, they pronouns. Don't really have anything to shout out or anything, so I'll pass the mic to John.
So, hi, I'm John Campbell. I am he, him pronouns, and I also have nothing to promote, so happy to be here. Let's have some fun.
Oh, next is Pearl.
Sorry, I had trouble finding the unmute button for a moment. I am Pearl. I use she and her pronouns. And I suppose I don't have anything to promote either. Like, I exist online, but not in a useful sense around here, so nice to see everybody.
Hi, my name is Vince. I'm playing Taurus Vector Galani. I use he, him pronouns, and yeah, like everybody else, I'm not a designer or have anything that is getting publicly promoted, but thank you for watching our little game here.
Indeed. Yeah, I think we're just people that are here to play the game. Now we got lots of fun stuff that's going to come up. I think our next round here, we'll let everyone do a brief introduction of their characters, basic look, basic powers, basic personality, just sort of a quick bullet point of who your characters are, and then I'll talk about safety tools a little. Then we'll let John do his big introduction with his character. We'll go into his background questions, the team building questions, the relationships questions, so we can have everybody set up to hit the ground running. Okay, Alex, if you're ready to start up with the introduction of Jack Flash, our star.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm playing Jacqueline Flash. She goes by Jack. She uses the Star Playbook. She is a vlogger who, posts live streams and posts videos of her doing superhero things. She has cool electrodynamic control powers, which she mostly uses to move things around with magnetic force by running current through them. And she has never been rude or mean to anybody in her entire life ever.
Oh, but everyone else is so rude and mean to you all the time.
Incredibly. It's extremely unjust.
Okay, our next along in the character keeper is John with our transformed.
Okay, so I am playing Igniter, who is the transformed. He is, once upon a time, he looked like a normal kid, just like most of you. But due to an accident, his entire body is made up of rocky plates, and it looks like there is almost like veins of lava coming through them. So being the transformed, he's at this point he's just kind of quiet and trying to keep himself together, and you know, he tried to start having a normal summer, but it didn't quite work out, and that's why he's joining up with you guys now.
Okay. Next on our list, I think, is our joined Pearl.
All right. So I am playing, indeed, the playbook The Joined, which means that my character is inextricably linked to another. You haven't met him yet, but you will. It actually kind of makes sense for him to go first, but I'll just go first anyway. So my character is basically an alternate timeline version of another character. Her name is Sapphire Stone, nicknamed by her friends casually Sappho, but her superhero name is Joule, spelled Joule, like the physics term. And she's female, but relatively androgynous looking generally. She has come back in time to avert disaster. We can go into that maybe after general character introductions. But in doing her research for coming back, she looked at superhero things from this time period and thought that that's how people dress normally. So she looks like a superhero all the time, like a really stereotypical one with a cat suit and heels and all kinds of things. But her actual costume is a pressure suit, an impact absorbing suit that she hits a necklace and it comes on so that if she falls or whatever else, it will absorb the impact. And that just covers up her other superhero looking costume. So she sort of double superheroes it. And she, like I said, is here to avert a disaster, and is linked to someone else who is here to avert the same disaster and is actually a different version of the same person.
I'm here to avert a different disaster that's similar because we're the same people.
Yeah.
You want me to jump in?
I was just going to say, which leads me to the other me.
All right, yeah. So I'm playing Taurus Galani. His superhero name is Vector. He uses he, him pronouns, but similar to Joule, also has somewhat an androgynous look. He, in his research for what would be an appropriate manner of dress for a typical person in the summer of 2019, looked up things that were popular right around the beginning of July and came across the character of Steve in Stranger Things Season 3. So he's dressed like he works at Scoops Ahoy. Similarly, he has the same, essentially identical pressure absorbing suit. The powers that he and Joule share, they're able to create portals similar to the video game series that Valve had put out a number of years ago, so they can create links between two different spots. And with their powers combined, they can create links between 4 different spots, which leads to all kinds of physics goodness. In my future, in Vector's future, his parents separated when he was very, very young, and as far as he's been able to piece together and remember and make sense of in that early childhood, when you're a kid and your parents separate, your world falls apart. But in his future, the entire world fell apart because he had a couple of super powered super parents, and them having those disagreements led to the great cataclysm of his dystopian future. So a major portion of why he's traveled back is to avert that from happening. And he has been able to identify his dad, who is a teacher at this school, part of this specific program that we've all been recruited into. His name is Biff Roberts, but he's not actually positive who his mom is because his memory's gotten a little screwed up along the way.
Whereas in Jules' future, her mom disappeared when she was a baby in some sort of anomaly, and nobody knows why. And her future actually ended up a lot better than Vector's, but it has become known to the people who monitor timelines and things in Jules' future that there is, I guess I won't get to go into too many specifics, but a possibility that a supervillain will try to combine all the timelines into one that is not one we all want. So Jules' been sent back in time to make sure that things actually go the way they're supposed to lead to a timeline like hers.
I've been tallying up the different cultural reference points that we have so far, and it's a little bit Back to the Future. It's a little bit Mamma Mia. It's a little bit The Parent Trap. It's a little bit Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a little bit The Terminator.
Indeed. In my future, Biff doesn't ever talk about who my mom was because that was like too painful. So I also don't know who my mom was. So both of us are trying to figure out who our mom is and get them together. And then what happens after that and what our aims are, we haven't really, we'll see how that goes. But for right now, we've met because we both intentionally got detention to be assigned to Biff, who was leading the detention, and to try to poke around and find out more about him. And while we initially had some tension, like, who the hell are you? We then figured out eventually that we were essentially the same person with the same goal, and now we are joined. Hence my playbook, The Joined. And we are a team who do awesome things and try to prevent the future from being terrible. So I think that's most of it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So that gets us to me going into our quick safety tools summary. As I stated on the last video, on the Gauntlet, we use several safety tools. The ones that I'm using in this campaign are, number one, the X card, which the Gauntlet always uses. If anything causes you to not be having a good time in this game or makes you uncomfortable, anything we get into, like just, is, upsetting or causing you to be distracted in a way that's not fun or interesting, you say, I'd like to X card that. You put an X in the chat. You put an X on the roll for your party link, which I will share with everybody again in just a moment. It has its own little X card button. Any of those things, if it looks like I've missed what you've thrown up for the X card, just say something. Say, I have something like the X card. I may ask you for a clarification or a just a quick note of exactly which portion of the content that we need to X card, so I know how far to dial it back, and so your other players know how far to dial it back, so that we can restart and go in a good direction that lets everybody have a good time, because that's what we're all here for. The other tools that we've set up for this game are a set of lines and veils. On the Character Keeper spreadsheet, we have a tab that is specifically for safety. It gives a list of lines and veils. Lines are things that we absolutely do not want involved in the game at all, because they cause you to just not have any fun if they're involved. Like there's no way to there's no way we want that stuff in the game. We've already made a preliminary list of lines and veils. John is our new player. You are certainly welcome to add to that on that tab if you'd like. You can state any lines and veils you have that you'd like to add once we get into the safety tools here. And I'll ask you to note if you want to put that on the video. That's fine. If you want to put that simply on the spreadsheet, you're welcome to do that if you don't want to actively discuss them. The veils are things that we're okay with having exist in the game and in the game's fiction, but we don't want to actually see them on screen and be actively describing them. That's the stuff where we would like this, we intimate this is about to happen, and then we fade to black or we shift scenes, and that stuff happens, but it happens off stage. And that is our quick safety tools summary. And now everyone else had previously entered several of their lines and veils on the spreadsheet. John, if you've had an opportunity to review those, you're welcome to state anything you'd like to add to those lines and veils before we get started, or you can simply type them in.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add is to the line of violence to pets. So,
okay, if you just type that in, I can easily deal with that. I didn't have that as part of any prep I had done anyway, so that makes that part easy. And just make sure it's in there so I don't accidentally trip over it when I'm working on prep for next time. We're good. All right. Did you have anything to add to the veil section, John?
nope, that all looks good to me.
Okay. All right. And proceeding from there, we've had everyone do sort of a bullet point introduction of their characters. Now, John, as the new character at Igniter, will need to go into some of Igniter's background questions. As the transformed, you've got you've kind of got the toughest situation to deal with of anybody, and your backstory questions kind of reflect that. Would you like to go ahead and get into that part now?
Sure. So, my backstory questions are: who are you before? And I was Raymond James, aka Archie Rich, and he was just kind of a standard kid, went to a middle of the line high school, didn't have a lot of money, and so he was working really hard and had an internship at some kind of scientific facility. We'll say Light Labs, and when I changed, there was he was working on something involving a study of geokinesis, and there was an accident that like it overloaded and kind of gave him the powers. Who outside of the team is helping me understand my new body? I'm gonna say I just threw an NPC in there. Dr. Sheridan. He was one of the scientists that was in the lab when it happened, but he wasn't affected, but he's familiar with the science that caused it. Why don't you just try and hide yourself away? It's just too dangerous for him to hide because of his, he accidentally lights things on fire just by being near them for too long. He needs special assistance. And why do I care about the team? Because the team as part of the larger group is people that are willing to help him out with what he needs, and this group in particular just have been friendly. Especially he's impressed by Jack, who's turned his abilities or her abilities or their abilities, I think, their abilities into a celebrity status. So he's kind of interested in that, and then the other two being from the future, it's kind of what happens in my future. I want to find out, so he'll kind of follow along with them. And yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Let's see. I think then we've got your question from when our team first came together, and we'll be sort of working this in as well when you first came together with the team at some point in the past, during their first episode of working together, you drew the attention and ire from plenty of people, entities, organizations, somebody during the fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears you. Who is it?
That's why before we started recording, I was asking a little bit about what happened last time, because I was thinking like somebody from Epoch or Eon, has that that hate or fear.
Okay, I think we can do that. I was looking on our list of pre-existing NPCs here. We don't necessarily have any direct employees of Epic or Eon listed here. So if you'd like to come up with a name for a person who's working, let's say at Eon or Epic, whichever one you'd prefer. Epic is we came up with that being the subdivision for public relations and managing media messaging for super types.
Okay, so it would probably be more the parent organization of Eon.
Okay. If you'd like to name that person now, we can, or we can just sort of see who comes up and to just note. We can put an entry in here for person who hates you guys.
Yeah, I could even see it though being somebody from the PR department, because having somebody who randomly sets things on fire is not that great for public relations for super.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's fair too. So.
Okay, I'm gonna enter just I guess Epic or Eon agent, and when we come up with a name at some point, we can plug them in there. And if you come up with an image that you like for that particularly difficult and annoying person, we can plug that into that page as well.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, and that takes us to the
relationships.
Yep, we are into relationships. You can throw those out to your fellow party members. You can have some suggestions. You can ask if anybody wants to jump on that particular question.
And should those of us whose relationships that we established already, if those players aren't here,
you're welcome to, once we go through John's questions, if you guys want to sort of cross-pollinate with maybe pick one or two more questions to sort of work in with what you guys have established with Igniter, that would be great. So you can be thinking about maybe pick one question, one of your relationship questions to touch on with Igniter, or some other relationship idea that comes to you as he's going through his.
Okay, so the first one I want to address is blank knew you before you changed. Now, obviously, Jack would be the most obvious, but I thought it would be interesting if one of the two time travelers maybe accidentally met him before, something like that. If I don't know how much you guys bounced around time.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I have a couple different thoughts along that kind of line. One of them is less that I knew you before you changed than I knew of you, but I don't think that works as well. I think that we've essentially established that this is, as far as Vector knows, at least, his first time traveling back in time. Pearl and I are both very interested in getting these characters into other future Gauntlet Comics series. So it could be that this is just kind of eternal recurrence, and they just keep on winding up back in time, thinking it's their first time back in time because the timeline is getting shifted so much. But that it gets a little bit trickier to justify that way.
Okay. Yeah, so let's go with, is Jack okay with that?
I'm happy to take that one.
Okay. And then the other one is blank comforted you when you were at your lowest. So are either of you more comforting than the other?
I probably would be.
I was going to agree with that.
I come from a happy future, and am not invested in my ego as much as some characters. So I imagine I would be the friendly. We do have low mundane stats. Is that what you use to comfort someone?
Yes.
Always have that.
Usually, but we also both have that move where we're able to comfort people by talking about who they're going to be in
Oh,
the
yeah.
future.
Yes, that's true. So I would be fine to take that if you like that, and if not, that is okay.
Sure. So I'll go with Jewel then.
Okay.
Or actually, rather, I have the power to comfort people with what I know they're going to be like.
Oh, that's
You
true. I
don't.
don't have that one.
However, I have a now open relationship block, which this would have made sense to pull Archie into, which is blank turns away from the hero's path according to your history books, and you have to prevent that from happening. It could be that I try to prevent it by attaching myself to you and really trying to like make sure that you're taken care of, or it could be that I'm just really antagonistic to you because I expect you to turn heel.
I kind of like that. Yeah. The antagonistic side.
So we've got the utopian version being nice and comforting, and you've got the dystopian version
Just kind of being a dick.
Hey, it works. Let's see, Alex. Do you think Jack Flash has any relationship questions that you might fit Igniter into?
Like, yes, but also both of my relationships are to Sapphire and Taurus respectively, and I wouldn't want to like take away from either of those.
Gotcha. Okay, so your relationship with him can be more through his question than yours. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, we've gotten to that point. Now, we had a kind of a quick action bit last time.
Influence really fast.
Oh yeah, for John. Gosh, I've lost track of that. Thanks,
So
John.
for my influence, it is you try not to care what other people think. So I give influence to one teammate. I don't know. It's kind of a coin flip. Let's go with Jack Flash.
And you will never regret that at all. We're all perfectly sure.
And you have influence over both Jewel and Vector. Because anybody from the present, yeah.
You also have influence over me because I give influence to 3 people. So I'm happy to sort of reassign that third to somebody who's here. That makes sense to do.
That sounds good to me. Is that cool with you, John?
Yeah, absolutely.
De facto leader.
Woo!
Okay, so we've got that ironed out. Thanks for reminding me of that, Vince. I had forgotten that part. Now we've got a quick summary of what happened last time. Would anyone like to give a summary, or if you guys would like to each take a little bit of it? Basically, it was one big fight, and things happened. Things were done. Things were said.
I can do a bit of it, but I know that I'm going to have big gaps in here because I did not have a chance to review the footage.
That is thematically appropriate for your character. Good job.
Yeah. So my understanding of it was that we were at a school outing that was at a section of ruins where we were attacked by some kind of seemingly time-traveling alien being from the distant past. The impression I'm getting is kind of a Prometheus architects kind of figure who was kind of a bit shocked that humanity had been able to develop superpowers, because when it last saw any of us, we were still living in caves. And we're in this architectural ruin. It gave me kind of a ancient Greece feeling, but I don't know if that was if I'm just visualizing that in my own head or if that was Chris's intent. But we've been battling with this guy for a while. Stuff hasn't been going all that great, though. None of us are banged up all that much. I know there was a big detail that Chris revealed that I unfortunately was not paying very close attention to, of what might be the easiest way to end this quickly. And I did not connect the dots on that. But hopefully somebody else did, because otherwise we're just going to keep on punching this thing till it stops moving.
Yeah, I think last time you had it was more of a Northern European location. I think I'd thrown that detail in there, but it was kind of glossed over because really it was more important to punch and kick and throw things at this time traveling entity. But you're on a Northern European coastline. This is on sort of this large cliff thing overlooking a rocky Northern European coast. So I'll clarify that in case I messed up last time.
I'm having all of these, like, I think this happened or didn't, maybe, things. Like, did somebody take its cloak? Didn't someone take its cloak?
Yeah, I took its
did.
cloak, which took away its ability to fly. And then we both tumbled through a portal that tossed us about like a mile high into the sky.
And I teleported to
yeah, you got up there in time to
get you guys back to where we started.
Yeah, then I believe I tried to bring like a big rock down on it, and it just kind of slid off of it like water. And then I yelled at Jewel, and Jewel
Jewel and I had been gearing up to join our powers together to fastball special, and then you insulted her a bit, and she broke off from our planned strategy. And that's, I think, just about the moment that we had to end our session.
Yeah, Jewel said, I mean, hey, listen. The choice I made was provoke them to foolhardy action. It's not Jack's fault that Jewel chose to teleport Jack away and be very mean and insulting.
Or save Jack's life, however you want.
Yeah, that too.
Situation.
Yeah.
But you were mean about it.
Yeah, clearly, rules as written. It's not that Jack committed a foolhardy action. It's that Jewel did.
Yeah.
After being provoked by someone who maybe should have gotten away by herself.
Jewel has free will. Jewel could have ignored it, even though the rules explicitly said that you had to do it.
You're the same person. Whose side are you on here?
Fine, obviously.
I'm just speaking as a constant reader.
Taurus idolizes me.
Okay, that's pretty much where things left off. We did have Black Block and Eclipse were involved in the fight, and just as you guys had completed a couple of those moves, the entity, I'll call it by its name now because that's what's going to show up in the in the little comics blurb. If you're looking at the comics panel that brings back up the scene at the end of the last issue, you have this this being who we now know through the comic splash panel, at least you guys don't know this yet, is the Antediluvian, and it has drawn up its a cascade of its own power. It looks like an amount of power to rival Eclipses. And it was about to blast the bejesus out of you at the end of that. Now, some of you had moved out of the way via teleportation. Some of you had gotten moved out of the way. And so I'm going to say that the two that were confronting the attack directly, just for the convenience purposes of our fiction. Black Block and Eclipse. Eclipse basically was depending on his Nova abilities to try and block this cascade of energy. So he projected his own power out at it. And Black Block attempted to distract or otherwise assist. And the cascade of energy sort of rolls across them. And you can see it looks like both the Entity and Eclipse are kind of surprised that neither one of them is getting the upper hand here, as the two energies just sort of collide and bash against each other, until finally there's this boom that sort of blasts both parties back, and you see Black Block sort of fade in and try and catch Eclipse, and as they're flying towards one of these walls, they hit a shadow, and Black Block teleports them in order to avoid the impact. You don't know where they went, but it looks like Black Block managed to keep Eclipse from like hitting that wall. As soon as they got into that wall's shadow, he teleported, but he has to teleport to some other shadow, is what we established last time, and we don't know which shadow they went to. So they're off stage right now. They can easily show up again if circumstances warrant. And at this stage, I think we are coming back to this combat. You see the Antediluvian sort of knocked back against that wall by that backlash. Again, it looks surprised that happened. And at this stage, I think we have Igniter finally making his way to where the scene of this battle. He was in another part of this archaeological site with another group of the class, and he heard the commotion, and it took him a little while to get over here, because as I understand it, he doesn't necessarily have any superhuman movement, so he just has to run. So he finally like stomps his way over here, and he sees the situation as the other people are like running past him. And now in this particular area, it's just it looks like it's just all of you and this creature from beyond time.
I have an idea of a thing I want to do, but I kind of want to see John make an entrance.
Yes. So John, if you would, you were appearing on the scene, you get your splash panel like everyone did last time. What does your splash panel look like? What is the flavor of the text we get to see that announces your name? And if you have like a little bullet point like catchphrase that pops up, you can throw that in there as well.
I guess his splash page would be just kind of like a couple like tiny panels of him like making his way through the crowd, and then he says, "Antediluvian, kind of vampire looking guy." Guessing, or
well, not now. This is some sort of like statue looking thing.
Statue.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can share. Let's see if I can pull that up once again here for you guys. This is a lot harder to find than it was last time. Well, I'll keep looking for it, but basically, It looks like a semi-animated statue. Once I find it, I'll throw it up on the screen again.
Okay.
It looks like that. It doesn't look vampiric. It looks vaguely. It's sort of an androgynous humanoid that has an expressionless face and glowing eyes. It used to have a cloak. Somebody did something with the cloak.
He says, kind of him doing a power stance with the flames kicking up off of him, and he says, How about facing somebody with your same chemical composition? It has igniter with flames. And he just shows him blasting him.
All right. It sounds like you want to directly engage a threat. Am I?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's just
All
dive
right.
into it.
Okay. Directly engage a threat generally involves you rolling danger, unless you have some move that allows you to shift that roll to something else.
No. Yeah, I got a 12.
Well, that is 12. Okay, you've got a. You get to choose 2 results from the directly engage a threat.
Okay, so the one thing I didn't open up is the basic moves. So okay, here we are. So yeah, I want to for the moment resist their blows and create an opportunity for my allies.
Okay. Let's see. Now, are you like throwing a rock at them? Are you running up and punching them? Are you like trying to tackle them? What kind of what form does your attack take?
Blasting him with fire.
Okay. Is your fire like molten lava kind of fire, or is it just like a wave of actual fire? Like what are we looking at on Pam?
I like the wave of molten lava. So it's like a mud pie made of lava gets hurled at it.
Okay. That hits it square in the chest, and it was just sort of pulling itself back out of that semi crater in that wall that the blast from Eclipse had knocked it into. And as soon as it does, it like just gets splashed into that wall, and the rock starts to harden because it's not going to stay molten once it's away from you, and it's sort of trying to struggle its way out of it, and it seems to be stuck in this sort of strangely rapidly hardening igneous melt, or I guess it's technically lava now that it's surface side. So it's struggling to get out of this lava, and it can't seem to get out of it fast enough to avoid any sort of follow-up attack that may occur. You can see it trying to pull itself free, but it's just as it pulls itself free, it starts to sink a little bit because this lava is also like burning a hole in the just normal material ground here. So if anybody would like to do something, they would be welcome to.
Oh, is this?
Can
Mm.
Well,
I'm
not sure
I
what,
will.
which one he wants.
Mostly, I want to respond to like the thing we left off of last time with me and Jewel.
Okay. You guys were a little bit removed from where this thing is, so
Yeah.
we can deal with that separately. As that thing's struggling, we immediately see a flash panel back over, because what the readers really wanted to see is this argument right here, because this is where the good stuff happens. Super battles, those happens all the time.
Please end this argument with Jewel being able to come back to finish this scene off, because we have a finishing move, and I'd love to get to use it.
Listen, that is absolutely the plan.
It's the plan.
That is absolutely the plan. Okay, so I'm guessing when Jack was teleported away from the scene, like her phone was not teleported with her. And just kind of, I guess, fell where it was.
I don't think I was concerned with your phone.
Yeah.
Well, how far away was it? I'm not sure how far she teleported you away. I can't remember if we established that or not.
Just out of immediate danger, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
so
fans probably freaking out. They have no idea where you are.
And my guess is that. Yeah. Sorry, you're.
Oh, just the thing hasn't like thrown anything at us or like shown any things of that nature. So as far as I know, I don't need to get too far away to avoid like a blast. And I'm still wanting to attack the thing. So I think just out of reach and a bit is where I would have gone.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not sure that the issue so much is that like it's out of range, but that like the sudden change in location would disrupt her continuous control over its movement. Because I think that would be disorienting for anybody. So, what was it Jewel said to Jack last time that was mean and insulting?
I'm
And
pretty
entirely
sure
warranted?
you were insulting me all the time. I
You
don't.
definitely said something. I remember this much.
I believe
was-
you. I don't know what it was, and I'm sure it was appropriate. But
It-
I had watched the video just so you know, the last little bit of that conversation was Jewel saying, "You should just stay over here and stay out of the way," basically.
that sounds about right.
And
Yeah.
that was kind of where we cut things last time.
Okay, so I think Jack looks at her and without a word sort of zooms her phone over to where they are, like picks it up telekinetically, electrokinetically, and zooms it back over to where they are, and looks into the camera and says, sorry about that interruption, guys. So you can see things are, that thing is pretty crazy. Big thanks to my good friend Jewel here for getting me out of a tight spot. And then I think you hear the boom and like the sound of Igniter doing his thing. And she says, it looks like things are heating up over there. So let's see. Oh God, no pun intended. Anyway, let's see what if we can do anything to this thing, huh? Let's go. And then she does like one of her rocket jump things back towards the fray.
I just shake my head because I just got her out of the fray, and like there she goes. There she always goes. But at this point, I'm more focused on just getting rid of the thing because I'm not going to keep teleporting Jack backwards like over and over again. So I guess I would see the igniter thing and then the lava melty sinking bit. Is that where we're at with this?
Yeah, it's starting to get stuck, if I recall right.
Okay.
Right. It is currently sort of trying to pull its way free of this really sticky lava glob that Igniter flung at it, and it is having a really hard time with it.
Okay.
But it does have lava on it, so
Vector, I don't suppose you'd want to spring into action with me, would you?
I think it is high time we finish this.
I think so too.
And I think that Vector punches his hands together, does a clap. You see like the portals forming on both sides. He shoots one, a good distance to help get Jewel back over to where he is, and we start to put together our coordinated attack on this. So we are coming in and out of every possible location. We're dropping portals underneath the antediluvian. It's falling through them, coming out another side where just one of us is waiting with a punch. It's just a flurry of blows in rapid succession. And if you don't mind me doing the honors as a leader, I'd be happy to
Sure.
Roll to overwhelm a vulnerable foe.
Absolutely. I will assist.
Okay. And do you guys have the roll for your party link, or do I need to share that for you?
I've got it.
Okay.
That's a couple comments up if anyone else needs it. I posted it.
Oh, outstanding. Okay, so rolled a 10 on the die.
Yeah.
I have, danger +2, so that is a 12. Overwhelm a vulnerable foe. On a hit, the fight is over. They're done. On a 10+, choose 1. On a 7 to 9, choose 2. So I think my options are take a powerful blow in turn, hurt your foe more than you intended or cause serious collateral damage. I think that given that we are in a structurally sensitive archaeological area, and we are disrupting the basic infrastructure of it, I think we cause some serious collateral damage in finishing this thing off.
That is a legit choice. Okay. All right. So you defeat it. Like it, you just are cycling it through, like bouncing it off walls, bouncing it off your fists, bouncing it off. I mean, honestly, if you wanted to, you could bounce it off Igniter. I mean, he's made of rock.
Yeah, we got to a couple times.
I mean, so it finally, out of the last portal, it just like tumbles in just a heap. Like it is, you can see it is just scuffed and beaten all to heck, and it collapses, and it starts to sort of lose. It looks like visual coherency, like it seems to be like, you know, fading from sight as it's passed through so many of your portals, and it like reaches out and over towards Igniter, and it says something in that weird comic book untranslatable language, and then it just sort of fades out into the dirt. And as you guys are taking a deep breath after that, you notice that you have punched a hole in almost every single one of these walls at this archaeological site. It is. You should probably get the heck out of here right now because things are going to be falling here. Igniter will probably be fine. He's made out of rock.
Yeah.
But the rest
Are
of
there
you aren't.
Are there other students and that kind of thing here, or is
There
it really
were-
just us?
There were, but they were. I mean, you guys. Part of what the folks who weren't actively engaged in the battle earlier on were doing, was getting folks out of the way, like getting students, getting some of the archaeologists that were here, getting some of the instructors and chaperones, getting them the heck out of the way. So right now, some of these walls are starting to crumble. You can kind of see some of the taller towers and parapets starting to lean precariously as, you know, bits of masonry and brick are dripping ominously from them. So what do you guys want to do?
I can like portal us out of here. Presumably, I can teleport. I don't know how many people I can teleport like that.
Yep, that sounds like
Skill
you
is
would
not-
need to unleash your powers
Okay.
to teleport that many people.
Okay. Unleash my powers. So
That
roll
is
plus
plus
freak. And I have 2 freak. All right. I'm notoriously bad with the rolling. Can I clear the room because I like messed up the dice?
Sure.
They're
That's
like
not a
all
problem.
over the place and weird, at least on my screen.
Yeah, they're a little jumbled.
Oh, but it cleared the picture. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be all right.
All right. So, my name is Jewel. Okay. Submit. So I got a 7. Thank God for freak.
Okay. You can either mark a condition, or I can tell you how your solution is unstable, temporary, or otherwise messed up.
I just had to mark a condition because the assistant in the fastball special does. So I'd rather not mark another one right away. So
Oh, come on, what's a few conditions between friends?
have you seen the way I roll? Like, I told you, right, that I had a thing where I rolled 3 dice once and I got 1 on all 3 of them. Like,
more conditions means more potential.
that's true, I guess. Meh. What condition would I mark here? I guess afraid? Would that, like, I'm afraid we're not gonna,
No, I
I'm
mean,
afraid of the
that
situation?
that can represent worry. It can represent, you know, fear of what could have happened, that sort of thing. You can explain
Yeah,
the conditions in lots of different ways.
I imagine that, like, as I'm seeing all of this happening around me, I'm worried I'm not going to be able to get everyone out in time. So I could mark afraid, I think. All right.
Okay, you do it. You guys teleport out of there through that portal. You're able to push yourself, and you expand the portal just wide enough to get you guys and even Igniter out of there, which is pretty impressive. He's fairly big. So you guys step out of the portal. I'm presuming you open it like outside near the entrance to the archaeological site, kind of where you guys came in.
I think I'm just kind of like this, like making sure everyone's here, and kind of like our fastball special worked, but then like we had to get out of there, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed. So somebody else should talk because I'm like,
It's not full yet.
Sorry, I would have got there sooner, but I was on the other side, and it was a long run, and I'm really heavy.
No worries, man. Up high.
And I'm only at
Sure.
Wait, quick question. Is it possible to touch Igniter without, like, being hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just like really warm. Like if somebody had a bad sunburn and you place your hand over it, you know, you can kind of feel the warmth coming off.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
like
you
generally-
on coals.
Yeah.
Just, no extended contact.
Yeah. I think you feel a joy buzzer level shock.
Dude.
With the high five. And she smiles at you.
You think? Let's see.
So-
Do you think you're sort of attempting comfort and support there, or are you just not going that far? Are you just doing a friendly greeting?
Yeah, that sounds like a celebration to me.
Yeah, that could be that too.
I'm cool with either or neither.
That could certainly be sharing a celebration of your recent victory.
Yeah. Maybe we wait for the celebration for something like where everybody's involved.
You are all right there, but I'll leave that up to you guys. You can
Just
see
in the interaction. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can kind of see that off in the background. You see like some of the students are kind of being brought together and they're being counted. Like, okay, we got they're almost like a roll call, like having people raise their hands to make sure everyone's out. And in the background, of one of those panels, we see like Black Block and we see Eclipse, sort of like taking deep breaths at like hunched over, like so we know they're okay, but they're sort of in the background now. All right, what do you guys do now? You can see that they're gathering the students over near where you guys went into the dig, and they're doing that head count roll call. What do you guys do?
I think that I want to try to connect with Jewel, like on our walk back to regroup, because she seems a little shaken. And I start out just with like probably a not entirely convincing smile, just taking a look at my own mundane score. I'm like, hey, that really worked. We've never actually, like given a shot at pulling all that off together in the middle of a fight, but man, we took that guy out.
yeah, we did. We did, and we're all alive. I'm so glad. Not shaken up, or that wasn't way more than I was anticipating ever having to do at one time at all. So, go team.
I mean, we're here to fix something, and you can't fix something without breaking a few things, right?
Yeah. No, I'm glad we're all okay. I wasn't 100% sure I could get us all out of there, so I'm just glad it worked.
I'm curious what he's up to, though.
Yeah,
Right.
I was hoping we could capture him and interrogate him, but it got to a point with the meltings and the whatnot that it seemed, I don't know. I'm not thinking really clearly right now. It actually takes a lot of energy to.
Okay, well, yeah, and hold on, like take a breath, breathe in, breathe out. But you pulled off some awesome stuff there, and who knows how Jack might have wound up had you not been there to get her to safety.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess you're
And,
right. Worked okay.
I feel like there's two possible things that I could be doing. Initially, I was coming to try to comfort or support, but I also feel like I'm trying to shift your labels.
Okay.
I feel like this is a savior up and freak down shift effort,
Okay.
which you could either accept or reject.
It will be very hard for me to reject it because of my insecurity condition.
Yeah.
So I can still roll for it, but you want savior up and freak down?
When I'm looking through kind of options here, and I think doing this as a comfort or support, where that will give you more options on how you want to interpret it and act on it.
Okay. But you're not doing the two of a kind pierce the mask thing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris, do you feel like enough has happened to justify that as a comfort?
Oh, certainly. I mean, the comfort and support stuff doesn't have a real time component in my mind. It's like you can do it with a gesture, you can do it with a pat on the back, you can do it with a smile. It's about the attachment, and you guys kind of have this attachment sort of built in.
Yeah.
So it's a relatively straightforward thing most of the time, I think.
Yeah.
You guys to do that for each other, unless you get angry with each other.
Yeah.
I think bringing up the thing with Jack would have really helped because I probably had forgotten that part at this point after all the things that just happened, like between the fastball special and teleporting and everything. So I feel like that was probably reassuring in a good way.
Yeah.
Well,
so it
Vince,
looks like.
You want to roll, right?
Yeah. I'm just looking through stuff.
Or are you trying to do a triumphant celebration type of thing? Because it could read either way.
Yeah, I'm
it's not
treating this
quite
as a comfort and support.
Okay.
And because I have influence over you, I get a +1 on it, which is thank goodness I do because I had rolled a 6, so that makes it a 7. So that means that you can either mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if you open up to me.
I think I'd like to clear a condition. So I think my labels are actually pretty accurate overall.
Okay.
And I will open up to you in a moment. Mark potential clear. Yeah, I think I will clear a label. I guess maybe insecure because you have made me feel less insecure by reminding me that I did something good. That makes sense to me. So yeah. Thanks. I had forgotten even about that moment with Jack. To be honest, I just kind of panicked. I've been teleporting myself for ages, but and occasionally like one person like Jack or whoever else, but not a whole team. And I was especially not sure with Archie. I just didn't know if it would work. I was really kind of scared.
Yeah, it's a lot more than I think I could pull off. So,
but I don't know. You and I are kind of the same. Maybe we'll work on it sometime. But I just appreciate you taking a minute to help me calm down because I was really overwhelmed. And yeah, you're pretty cool, other me. Should we catch up with our not engulfed in flames team?
Yeah, and I launch a portal over to like right at the back of the group, launch one at our feet, jump through, and we're
okay. Well, we're going to
jump through together.
We're going to fade off from that, and you guys will rejoin them in just a moment. let's go back and sort of peel back to the panels where we see our star and our transformed Jack Flash and Igniter. You guys were talking a little as the two time twins are chatting up over there.
How you feeling?
I wasn't able to get there until last minute, so I was glad I could help at least a little, right?
Yeah, you hit that thing way harder than I ever could.
You're very powerful. I've seen your videos. It's I'm so impressed by what you do and the amount of control you have. I wish I could do that.
Thanks.
That sounds like we're triggering a comfort and support there from Igniter. Am I reading that right, John?
Yeah.
It's funny. I was originally shooting to comfort support him, so that's very good.
And I told him what I envy, so I can roll plus freak instead of plus mundane.
Nice. Also, Pearl asking in the chat. No, Jack has put the phone away at this point. It's after the fight, and she's tired. She doesn't record everything.
Okay, so that's a 14.
Wow.
Okay, you are feeling unbelievably comforted and supported right now, Jack Flash. What option do you want to do? Do you want to open up and take advantage of that?
Yeah. I'll open up and mark potential, I guess.
How do you open up?
I think she says thanks. Obviously time twins got in the finishing move, and
Yeah, do people normally disappear when they do their portal thing?
I don't think so. I think that statue guy's just weird. But yeah, Jules. Well, Jewel is something.
Yeah, they're really neat.
Yeah, I don't know why. Jules seems to hate me, is all I'm saying.
Oh, I don't believe that. Nobody could hate you.
Thanks.
Yeah, except for people that leave comments on videos, but they hate everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You learn just to not read the comments. So, guess I should try that in my real life, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sure they'll like you just fine.
thanks. You're a good guy, you know that?
Yeah, I used to be, not so much now.
No, still. As long as we're, being all positive and, sincere with each other, you're still a good dude. Trust me.
I'd like to be, but, it's kind of hard when you scare anybody that you come around. So, I try to be a good dude. But
that's all you can do, right?
Guess so.
That feels like a scene to me. Or
Okay.
part of a scene, anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that will, if y'all are comfortable with that, that can end your two's direct interaction scene. And at that point, as you guys are sort of walking back toward the rest of the group, that portal pops open, and Jewel and Vector appear next to you, and we can proceed with a quick interaction scene as you guys are approaching the group. Anybody wants to say anything to anybody else they didn't just have a scene with before you guys rejoin the main group to be counted in the panicky student post super battle census.
So, do people normally disappear when you teleport them around like that? I wanted to ask.
Are you asking both of us or one of us specifically?
Both, I guess, because you both showed up behind me.
I
And
think. Oh, go
I
ahead.
think it'd be
Or
really
whichever one
funny
shows up
if we answer completely differently and just were talking over each other with it. And I'm trying to explain that the way the portal's working, it's just it's a wormhole effect. So if you have like a sheet of paper and you bend it around,
I mean,
and
it
put a
really
pencil
depends on
through
what
it,
you're
it's like
trying to
2
do.
points that are at the exact same
Like
spot.
I've made things disappear before because I just send them
It's
sort of
really
into this
essentially- it's
void.
pretty basic
But it really,
physics.
I mean,
And the
you
difference
know,
like a portal and a
I think that
teleportation is the idea that you're
it really
linking
depends on what
2
your
spots in
effect.
space at the same
But
point. Whereas with the teleport,
most of the time,
you're
though, because you want it to end up, wherever you're looking
constructing
for.
something and recreating the same molecule somewhere else.
Does that answer your question?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Nice job with the finishing move there, Taurus.
Yeah.
Jewel.
Thanks. I thought it was a good team effort by everyone. I thought, like, thanks
Good
for
job.
coming and joining us, Archie. I feel like we got it done. Go team, right?
Yeah. Go team. Yeah. Woo. Kind of like I just said to Jack, I'm sorry it took me a little bit to get there, but I can't teleport or things. Be
Hey,
really
you've
useful.
got skills. You've got like cool lava skills. I don't know how to do that. That's why we have teams. If we could all do all the things, we wouldn't need a team.
I'm sure you're taking care of some important stuff. I mean, we got a lot of people that could have gotten hurt if they hadn't gotten out of there in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just next time you're 15 minutes late, bring Starbucks.
I like chai lattes.
You would.
Okay.
I've always
I
been
don't
a
even
fan
know
of
what
pink
that
drink.
means. I'm sorry.
So that feels like a nice close for that particular scene. Unless you guys have something else you want to do before they count you guys up and hurriedly get you back to back to your back to the main prime back to the main prime class location.
Oh, is that a triumphant celebration?
That
Just
could
that?
be, yes. If everyone is thinks they're, I mean, it sounded like to me you could have been expressing triumph, or you could have just been bantering. How far did you guys want to go with it? That could be reflected either way. Were all of you feeling celebratory? Do you think?
I think I was. I had just been cheered up by Vector, and so was feeling actually kind of pumped, And we have this new member of the team who we knew about but hadn't officially been in our squad, and we took out this thing, and I don't know. I felt like it was pretty triumphy on my end, but I don't know how other people felt.
Yeah, I just got really cheered up by Archie, so.
Okay.
Downplaying myself, but overall celebrating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I was on the borderline of triggering one of mine, but I don't think that I really met the satisfactions for it, so I'll try to save it for another instance.
Okay. All right. So each of you that thinks you took it far enough to reach your triumphant celebration, you can activate your triumphant celebration moves, which for most of you lets you, clear one condition. Like for Archie, if you clear one condition, if you think they treated you like a normal person, or mark potential if they praised your power or abilities. It sounded like they praised your power or abilities that time to me, but
yep.
Okay, so you get to mark potential.
It looks like I only get to do it
if I'm not
Taurus
there.
isn't there, so it doesn't matter on my.
They start building your distinctions.
Yeah, that joined is a harsh playbook sometimes.
Okay.
And Star.
Yeah. when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, say whether it's part of this show or not. If it is, then you can shift your labels as you choose. If it is not, then they shift your labels. You can clear condition or mark potential. It's not part of the show. I'm not recording. So, I mean, if it's like involving all three, like who do I pick one person to share it with?
Yeah, I would think for the purposes of who's going to change your labels, I mean, you have to pick one. So
Okay.
whichever one you think is most appropriate.
I think it makes Archie makes the most sense, given everything that just transpired.
Okay, Archie, you can shift Jack Flash's labels one up, one down, and then after that happens, Jack, you can mark potential.
Or clear a condition.
Or clear condition. I think if you'd like to do that.
Now keep insecure.
That seems to be almost constant part of that playbook. I'm not even sure why you have that condition. It should just be
Honestly, yeah.
I am going to shift your savior or superior up one. Let's do. I'm going to shift your superior up one,
Dangerously high superior.
and your freak down one.
Hell yeah. I am the superior, have the superior stat. And yeah, I'm gonna mark potential.
Okay.
Rack that up.
Okay. We close that scene. We are at about our halfway point. Unless somebody wants to do or make some make some other, add something else real quick, we can go ahead and take our 10-minute break. When we come back, we'll do a couple of maybe downtime episode type things, because I know we'd like to. We got the joined and the harbinger that kind of have that one downtime move that I think they might want to try to hit at least once this session. The harbinger's connecting the dots type move. And I know a couple of your other folks have some moves you might want to try and hit as well. So we'll try and get that done as well based on what you guys decide you do. Is that cool with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, it's about 9:28 now. If everybody can come back, let's say at maybe 9:40. Yeah. How about 12 minutes? All right. See you guys in 12 minutes. Okay, looks like we've got everybody back. We're a little after 9:40. Okay. Let's see. They get you guys back to your to the hotel. They have you at the nearest in the nearest town. Um, it's a you know it's a Dutch city of reasonable size. There you're staying here until you can get your flight back, and they're of course flying you around in these ridiculously science fictiony Eon special transports as part of the Prime program. That's like the coolest part of the program, obviously, is you get to fly in these jets. And until they have that jet prepped and flight plan ready for takeoff, you guys have a few hours to yourselves to get something to eat, hang out, do other fun stuff in Europe that you might not be legally allowed to do in the States. So you're in the Netherlands. Use your imagination. What would you like to do?
I want to meet some NPCs.
There are tons. Do you want to hang out with some of your classmates? Do you want to like go out to somewhere like interesting, locally, like the local downtown shopping area? Do you want to go to something else?
Yeah, and I think the big thing is I want to find an opportunity where using connecting the dots would make sense, and I think it's going to make the most sense if we have a character that we can interact with who is likely to show up again within the campaign. So, if it was a long running campaign, then I'd be all for finding some random person in the Netherlands who is like, I know who that is.
Well, certainly. I mean, Biff is here.
Wow.
Is he?
Yes, he is. I mean, he didn't go out to the archaeological site with you guys because that stuff's not his bag, really.
What is his bag? We should drop by wherever he's at right now and find out what his bag is.
Right now, he is. Right now, Biff is sitting in the sort of adjacent. It's not quite in the hotel, but it's adjacent to the hotel. There's a bar. It's about maybe 4:00 by the time you guys have gotten back here, and he's in the bar. He's drinking. He's talking to other people, obnoxiously in English because he doesn't speak Dutch. So, luckily for him, most of them can basically understand them. Unfortunately for him, they can't understand him, so they realize just how bad a job he's doing at making small talk and hitting on people.
Yeah, I think that neither of us is 18, which I'm guessing is the drinking age in the Netherlands. So I think
they're not going to give you drinks, but I mean, they're not going to throw you out of the hotel adjacent bar. It's also kind of a restaurant-y pub sort of thing. So I mean, you can order food. You can order food there, but they're not going to serve you alcohol if you're underage.
I have a question here. Do we want to sort of involve our teammates in our investigating heist, but not really tell them why? Just like under the pretext of like mischief, like let's find out if we can get some dirt on our teacher.
They're like, why he's so boring.
Here's my question.
Just thought I'd throw it out there.
I don't think we clarified this last time. What exactly do you think Biff teaches in the Prime program?
What do you think he teaches?
I think he teaches theoretical physics.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Okay, all right, let me mark that down, and you guys can decide who you want to pull in on this particular stakeout. Stalking? What are you guys doing?
I mean, it's going to depend on what he has on him that we can find, right? Like if he has an actual bag that we're discovering, like what his bag is, then maybe, having people to distract, or if we're going to try to talk to him.
We're trying to identify his interests because I think that's going to be our first key in playing matchmaker for him.
But he might have like a phone one of us could like surreptitiously look at if somebody else were talking to him and keeping him the other way. I mean, like there are a lot of ways to approach it. Or do we want to just talk to him?
Oh gosh, what if we had recruited Jack to
interview him for the show?
I love that. If Alex, if you're into that.
I'm into it, but I think Jack would have a competing idea, which is Biff is going to be with us this whole summer. Only got a few more hours in the Netherlands. I just Googled it.
Mhm.
You can't buy spirits if you're not 18, but 16 and 17-year-olds can buy beer or wine. So, my room, party.
But we're at the airport, right?
No. We're still at the hotel.
Oh, we're still at the hotel. That's right. Okay. We have a few hours before we have to head to the airport. Is that right?
We have at least a few hours. It could be longer, depending. I mean, we can see.
And Biff is in the hotel bar restaurant.
Yes, he is in the adjacent. Let's say adjacent pub. Like it's in the same building. Like they're connected. You can walk down a hallway and you get to the pub, but it's not technically part of the hotel.
If I can request, because I think that Vector would have a very hard time passing up that peer pressure from Jack. I would love for it to be done. I would love for it to be a move. Jack, if you want to provoke someone.
Yeah,
Because I am susceptible to your words very much so.
I was absolutely wanting to like take advantage of influence.
Yeah. And that gives an opportunity to split up Jewel and I, where Jewel sticks to the mission, because there's also she's not as won over by you, and I'm just like, I need to impress Jack any way I can.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think frankly she'd be talking to the whole team, like saying, "Listen, if we pass this up, it'll be another 4 years." And yeah, I'll roll provoke on whoever wants to be provoked.
I definitely want to be provoked.
I'm in.
You didn't even have to.
I have an important mission I'm supposed to be doing, so I kind of I need to be pushed.
I don't think, because I can teleport, I don't think you're as likely to be able to provoke me. So, and I'm interested in the idea of the splitting up and some other things as well. So if it's okay for me to be left out of the provoke roll, I would dig it. But because I can teleport, I can go to Amsterdam whenever I want, and Biff is right here, already a little bit tipsy. So
fair. I mean, basically, if I succeed, you don't have to do it. You would just mark a condition.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Also, do you want a separate roll for both of them, Chris?
I think so, because one of them is uniquely vulnerable.
That is fair.
For this part, so we'll do 2 separate rolls.
All right, this first one is for Taurus. That's an 8.
Okay. Do you want to use it as, if they do it, add team?
Yeah.
Okay, then I absolutely do. And we can add 1 to our team pool.
All right. And for Jewel, it is also an 8. And I'm going to choose the other one for Jewel.
Okay. I forget what the other.
If you don't do it, you mark a condition.
Oh, yeah. I'll mark, I guess, angry. Like, I'm trying
You're
to
probably
get
more angry at me than you are at Jack.
I think just angry at the situation. Yeah, like we're supposed to be doing stuff, and like everyone's gonna go and be irresponsible teenagers when like the whole future is at stake. I think it makes me mad.
Have fun with hanging out with our teacher.
Yeah, no reason I would want to do that. Definitely just because I'm boring. You all have fun.
I just want you to know I'm counting on you, and good luck.
We'll talk about it later. Actually, can I or I'm going to have every condition in the world, but I guess there comes my experience. I would like to pierce the mask on Taurus.
On Taurus? Ooh. Okay, I think you guys actually
'Cause
have
I-
the move
Yeah.
for that.
Do you want to roll for it, or you just want to take the 10+?
I thought I would roll for it, and if I didn't get it, I would use the move and mark a condition and get a 10+.
I don't know if it's intended to work that way.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let me read through that part. Is that on the joined or the harbinger?
On
Yeah,
the-
it's on the
It's a
joined.
bond thing.
When time passes, you and your other half gain influence over each other. When you or your other half pierces the other's mask, mark a condition to take a 10+. It doesn't say instead of rolling, but
Hmm.
I sort of assumed it was like if you don't roll high enough, you can mark a condition and do it anyway. But I can just take a condition to do it if that's what we want. And I have every condition soon. I already have 2.
Yeah, that's not really there. I'm reading through the text of it here too, and it's not really clear that you would have to do it before you roll.
yeah, I'd say go ahead and roll then.
It's
Go
worth
for
a
it.
shot. Since I'm probably going to fail it anyway because it's plus mundane. So I'll probably end up using this special move anyway. But you never know. Every once in a while, I magically roll something that's not the worst roll.
Yeah, and don't forget that you get a +1 because you have influence over me.
So it would have been a 7.
Now, the 7 lets you ask one question. Is that enough, or do you want to ask? Do you want to get to ask more?
Actually, in this case, it is enough. Given what the questions for Pierce the Mask are. If there were more, I would possibly boost it. But so what do you want me to do?
I want you to help do this part of the mission that I am not strong enough to do. I like for myself, I get it. You don't understand. Your future must be very, very different. But Jack is the coolest person who has ever lived. She is just really like the only true hero that's left in the future that I know. So if I have an opportunity to get to understand what made Jack Jack, I can't pass it up. I know it's important for us to know what's going to happen, and that's why I'm counting on you.
Okay. So with piercing the mask, like, how do I know? Do I actually ask this and he's answering honestly, or am I like mentally? Is it a telepathic thing?
I think in our case, it's telepathic.
Okay.
It's just like you look and you're just like, and I just look and I'm like, and that no more words are needed, but you get every single aspect of that.
Okay. I think my level of jealousy / irritation about your fascination with Jack has increased with this, but I will do what's necessary. So, okay, you all have fun. You know,
We will.
I'm sure. All right, ciao.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's now a scene with everyone but me in it.
Well, what I might do is like they're gonna go like buy a bunch of alcohol. I'm presuming. Am I correct in that, Jack Flash?
Depending on how much time we've had since getting back, Jack might have already done it in anticipation of just everybody.
I think you
joining her.
You might have had a little bit of time, but like coming, because there are places relatively close to the hotel that you can go pick stuff up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say you've had time to do it if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I think it is extremely in character for her to have. I mean, despite her insecurities, to have decided to go ahead with those plans before actually finding out if other people wanted to do that. So.
Okay, all right. You've gotten a supply of wine and beer at your hotel room, and what are you guys going to do in the room? It's not that big of a room. I mean, it's like each of these rooms is has 2 students in it. We'll say for convenience's sake, Jack Flash, you and Jewel were sharing a room.
I was about to ask.
Seriously.
It was,
And,
okay, it was okay before you got here and had that little episode at the at the fortress.
Does Archie get his own room?
I'm not sure how he wouldn't. 'Cause it takes two beds for him to sleep. So
Next trip, definitely sharing a room with Vector.
So I think that Vector is obnoxiously clingy to Jack, and like probably drinking like a little bit more than he should. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I never ever would have. You are so approachable. You know that? Like, I feel like you get people, and I didn't think that you'd get people the way that you get people, but you get people. You really do. And it's impressive. Like, thank you for inviting me. You're so
Hold
cool.
up. Gonna have to have at least another bag of wine, half bag of wine first. And I think she chugs like this terrible bagged wine. And says, "Thank you." So, tell me about my future.
And I think this is a fantastic moment to actually open up the connecting the dots.
oh yeah, you got.
I got you.
It.
And it's gonna be a little bit fuzzy. Let's see what we get. So I'm gonna do memories. Rolling plus memories. My memories are at -1 at the moment. So I got a 7 on the die. -1 is 6.
Ooh.
And I went into this expecting that Jack fills in the leader role.
Okay, so you were thinking Jack was going to be the leader. Well, let's see where that 6+ what that 6+ lets me do.
On a miss, they're not at all who you thought they would be. The GM will choose their role or tell you that as far as you know, they don't exist in the future.
Okay. I've got 6 roles to choose from. Oh, I think it as you're sitting there like talking with Jack and you're looking into her eyes, and the episodes like that you're narrating that you think you remember are just flooding into your head, and then you realize that those episodes that are playing in your head were actually propaganda videos that were produced by Jack's future self as a part of their gradual takeover of the world's entertainment media, and a part of what would allow them to ultimately start to become like the worst possible abuser of the internet's nascent culture. Jack is the monster.
Excellent. And I think I rushed to the bathroom and throw up.
Okay, that is a scene for that part. We'll come back to it in a few minutes to see if we have any follow-ups. And I definitely want to see. I want to know if Igniter can actually get drunk,
or if the alcohol burns off,
or if it's just like it's just drizzling down the down the outside, like they can't even drink anything. John, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I was actually kind of wondering that myself, and I don't think Igniter knows since he's never had an opportunity to drink. He's like, I don't even know technically if I have to drink, and he's just like cracking them open and like pouring them.
Do you do beer or wine?
Beer.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Can you taste?
No organs.
Hell yes, go Archie.
Can you actually taste? Do you have taste buds? Does that part work?
Let's say yes, he can actually taste.
Okay. Has your character tried beer or likes beer? Because that's a big hill to get over when you're first starting to drink beer.
No.
Okay.
He has
Most European beers, unless you guys purposely got weak stuff, that's some strong beer most of the time. Not compared to what we have over here. It's not like Budweiser or anything like that. What do you
Jack
think?
got the strongest.
Okay. Oh, ooh, man, that's harsh. So, I'll let you think about like how you react to that taste. I don't know if you can get drunk. You can tell me if you can. It could be psychosomatic. You could think you're supposed to be drunk.
Yeah, I think that would probably be it. Like, he just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna drink this because I want to be with the cool kids, and
Okay.
pouring it down.
And Vince has a great suggestion. If you would like, if you think it would work for you, you can choose to like mark a condition as a part of what's going on here. Like you're trying to really hard to fit in, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but just the effort might have you marking a condition.
Yeah, that sounds probably insecure.
And I did mean that for myself, but yeah.
I mean, I think it works for both of you, really. I mean, I think marking a condition is appropriate for you because you just got a psychic shock of a lifetime right there. So I think that's a perfectly appropriate response to what happened to you with that realization of what Jack's going to become in your future. And it could work for Igniter because Archie's making a effort that's almost kind of ridiculous if you look at it. Like he's a walking chunk of semi-molten rock that is trying to drink a beer. But we fade from there as Archie is chugging a beer in the hopes of it having some effect. Yes, sad face beer chug. Fade out. That comic panel. We turn the page, and downstairs in the pub, we see.
And I did have.
Yes.
I did have one mechanical thing that affects Jewel, because I was working on triggering my my celebration move without Jewel being there. So that's giving you an option to, if you want to mark another condition, mark potential along with it.
Ooh, yeah. Jewel,
Wait, I mark potential?
Yeah,
No.
your team move when one of you shares a moment of vulnerability or
right.
shares a triumphant celebration without the other.
I mark. All right.
Now
You are condition heavy.
She marks a condition and gets to mark
And potential.
Ooh.
All right. It's gonna have every condition. I'm going to mark insecure because I'm being left out when I would have expected Vector to stay with me for our mission.
Okay.
And clearly his affinity for Jack is stronger than our bond, which is upsetting to me. But I will also mark potential. So I have 1 out of 5. And with 3 conditions, I'm sure that's going to go up quickly. So yeah.
Okay. You got your conditions marked. You've got your potential marked. You are watching Biff just. He's trying. He's making the effort. He's trying to talk to people, but he's not very good at it. And he would be even worse at it if he didn't have the added allure of being an American, here. Like,
Okay.
He's unusual. He's a novelty, so he has that going for him at least. And he's not actually obnoxious or mean, but he is sort of bumbling, and he doesn't speak the language. So he's getting a lot of sort of good-natured, like people, slowly moving away from him as he's talking, that sort of stuff. It's not going particularly well. And he's slowly, he's drinking more as he's realizing how bad it's going. Like his drinking becomes a little more accelerated, so he's getting to the point where, like, he's probably going to be full-fledged drunk before too long.
Okay. Is he talking to anyone?
He's talking at some people,
but like not. He doesn't seem to have a specific interest in any.
He focuses on. He's at that stage where he's got that sort of like this. He's focusing on anybody that's close to him. Like he'll lean over and talk to whoever happens to sit at the bar next to him. He'll lean over the other way, and when that person like gradually like moves themselves away from him, he'll lean over and talk to somebody else who's walked up to the bar. And he's not really having a conversation with anybody. He's just sort of talking at them in that sort of overly friendly drunk way.
Okay, so there's not like a woman he's trying to talk to that I should be paying attention to, it sounds like.
Not right now. You
okay.
You haven't seen anybody that's really paid enough attention to him for him to make any real conversational headway.
Okay.
You've seen that light nods.
Yeah, I don't know how this guy's our dad. He sounds not anywhere near as cool as we are. Okay, so what things does he have with him? Does he have some sort of bag? Does he have a phone? Like, and where are those things in relation to him?
Oh, he doesn't have a bag with him. He does have his phone. He's basically got his phone sitting, on the bar, kind of beside where he's drinking. It's kind of a little bit off to the side. It's probably placed farther than he probably really should have placed it from himself, because he's getting a little tipsy and he's not paying the attention he should. Because anybody at this point could just walk up and get that phone, and they'd stand a good chance of just walking off with it without him noticing.
I'm trying to decide whether I want to actually do that or whether I want to use a tiny, tiny portal. And just be like, shunk, and have it pop back up over here. I feel like, pretty much tiny portals are going to win anytime in my mind.
Tiny portals, is that something that you're routinely practiced with, like snatching stuff?
I mean, a small portal, yes.
Okay, he's not really any kind of like threat or danger or anything like that. If you just want to do it. Now, if you want to try and make it sneaky,
it doesn't sound to me like I need to. That's kind of why I was asking.
Well, like the bartender might notice. That would be the person who'd notice, like the bartender. Biff is not going to notice unless you unless you make him notice. Like he's doing other stuff.
I feel like the bartender is just as likely to notice if I walk up to the bar and take someone's phone, though, than if I make a tiny portal and the phone just disappears and then the portal.
Right. Well, like I said, I know your portals have like color effects. So it would be a
sapphire star.
Yeah, it would be a I think that would be an unleash your powers roll to do a tiny portal that doesn't do your color flash. Like
I think I'm going to let it do the color flash. Like, so the thing that I think about normal people is that they will make an excuse for having seen things if it doesn't fit with their view of the world. You know what I mean? Like if they see a tiny star and a phone goes through it and disappears, they're just going to be like,
oh yeah, I mean that could happen now.
So I think that's what I would rely on.
Yeah, you're also in a comic book world. So
that's true.
What people will believe can happen is expanded significantly. Now, whether or not they think like magic is going to happen at this dumpy hotel bar is an entirely separate question. I mean, if you don't want to worry about it, I'll just say do it, and we'll see what happens.
If I'm going to do a move, I would just like it to be flashier. Like this seems like such a small thing as one of my abilities that like I'm like I should just do it if I'm going to do it. Otherwise, I'll do something like ridiculous.
Okay, I'll say you do it, and we'll see what comes up later. Maybe nothing occurs of it. If somebody else like blows a roll in connection with this situation, maybe something else complicated could happen. I like that idea too. Okay.
Like I said, I could also do something flashy and ridiculous.
I don't think that's necessary. You can get a hold of the phone, no trouble.
All right. So I'm just going to get a hold of the phone and wander off for a minute, just outside the bar, like into the hotel lobby on a chair. Maybe one where the back is to the restaurant, so I can like hunch over and he won't see me there, but also so I can get it back quickly.
Sure. Like to go down to the restaurant, like where that pub is, it's down a little hallway. So like if you come back out in the main lobby, like he would have to come all the way out here to see you.
Okay.
So you're probably good.
So I go to his phone
Okay. What do you
and
wanna do?
I want to start just looking through everything I can think of: emails, photos, text messages.
Gotcha. He does not have security set up like he should, or he had disabled it while he was in the bar.
Yeah.
He can get on there, no trouble.
If he's as incompetent in general as he seems.
Well, you've gotten. Maybe he's an absent-minded professor type. Who knows?
Okay.
You guys haven't really like had a deep, in-depth conversation with him about much.
So I think I'm going to look through the texts then, because
Okay.
if he's maybe going to date someone, I imagine he would be texting them more than like emailing.
Okay, it's easy enough. You see a lot of texts with friends. You see a few texts with, it looks like with people with ladies' names, and there are several. As you're paging through them, nothing like jumps out at you as being like overtly romantic.
Okay.
It looks like he's asking people to like meet him for coffee and stuff like that, but like he doesn't seem to be like super involved with anybody at this point.
Are there any dating apps on his phone?
Oh, sure. Of course they're going to be. He's a single guy, and he ends up having to do a lot of this travel nonsense. So I'm going to say yes. He's got one on there.
So I'm going to. I want to open whichever one is the least like Tinder-like, because I'm assuming that our mom maybe is like looking for a relationship a little more than like a hotel hookup, and hopefully find a message to someone who looks promising.
Okay. I'll say you open up the equivalent of the boring ass like Match.com.
Okay.
Kind of, it's we'll call it Meet.com.
Meet.com.
Like MEET, not the
Yes.
other one. The other one is more like the Tinder.
Yeah.
So, and I'll say where you go through there, you find a couple of messages to people that he's chatted up on this program. I'll say there are 3 women that he's made multiple contacts with.
Do any of them look kind of like Vector and me?
If their photos are anything, none of them have a striking resemblance to you. But a lot of them have features that both of you share.
Of those 3.
Right. You see, her nose kind of looks like ours. Oh,
Okay.
but her eyes, her eyes in that picture, like they really look like Vector's eyes.
But none have a specific like both of us share this characteristic and this person does as well.
Some of them are close enough to where you could look at them. Like there are 3 of them that he's had relatively consistent contact with on the
Okay. So tell me what the last message is from each of them, and I will pick one and I'm going to message them.
Okay. I will say that the let me give them names. And I will say we've got, I'm going to put them in the chat here. We've got Becky C. We've got Linda A. And we've got Jada H.
Okay.
You've got those 3 are the most recent. The most recent message with Becky, that one seems to indicate that they were going to try and go out for dinner when they got back to the States. They were hoping that was going to be in the next couple of days. He was supposed to shoot her a message when he got back. We've got Linda, who is it looks like she's more the outdoorsy type. It looks like they were going to try and do like maybe meet and go on like one of those sort of like boat tours. but that doesn't seem to have panned out. Or maybe he did that earlier today with her, and that's what he was doing. Who knows? And the last message for Jada H is one where they were talking about things that they could do together, but they hadn't really made a commitment yet. They seem to have a few like similar interests. Like both of them enjoy like both of them enjoy like documentaries. Both of them like doing sort of like low impact sports type stuff. And both of them enjoy both of them have professional degrees. Both of them have PhDs. So there were a few like there were a few sets of messages like that. He had never actually made any real like plans with Jada, but they had been talking back and forth. Maybe looks like she's the most recent person he's had significant contact with.
I feel like you're setting me up by making her sound like the right one. So I'm actually going to send, you would never do that, I'm sure. I'm going to send messages to Jada and Linda. Because I want it to be Jada, which means it's not Jada. So, and in both cases, I
have a question for you. Are you trying to do your version of putting together the pieces? Did you get access to that move as part of the joined? Is that what you're doing, or are you just kind of investigating like independently?
You do have access to it.
You're talking about connecting the dots?
Yeah. Sorry, I keep mixing that up with putting the pieces together. Sorry.
Yes, but it's when I push myself to remember the version of someone that exists in my future, and I don't know who my mom is yet, so I can't really push myself to remember because I have no memories of her.
But you'll be able to do it with Biff, since I haven't done it with Biff yet.
Yes. So if I can, once I surreptitiously return the phone, if I can manage to talk to him, I could potentially do it with Biff. But right at the moment with sending the messages, I unfortunately cannot connect any dots. I just have to hope for the best.
All right. What are you sending? I'm going to try and make a note of each of these in the NPCs tab as well while you're deciding what you want to send to each of them.
So what I'm going to try, I guess I could send it to Becky as well. I don't know why I'm so resistant to Becky, but I am. Maybe I should send it to all three just to be safe. I'm going to send essentially like a copy and pasted message that says something to the effect of like, hey, this is Biff's friend. I stole his phone because he can be shy, and I wanted to let you know that he'd really like to meet you. But like, tailor it to whether they've actually met based on their messages. Like, see you again, meet you, check out that documentary. But like, form letter with filled in the details based on what they're saying. And I'm sure he's going to be so mad at me for having written this, but he's a great guy, and I really want to see him end up with a good woman, so he can be mad at me later.
All right.
Oh, that is a foolhardy action. Good thinking.
Yeah, that's
messing with the
now it's a foolhardy vicarious action.
No, this is
stealing his phone and sending messages to potential people is pretty foolhardy, given that they could be the wrong people. Like, maybe he didn't meet her on this app at all, right?
Would you want to think that he had met your mom on the dating app?
I mean, I opened the one that I felt was geared towards relationships, right?
Yep.
So it's my best instinct, since you said there weren't really any texts that seemed to be leading that direction. Like, I don't have anything else to go on that I can tell on his phone. And
Then we get into the whole, like, what kind of time travel are we working with? Is this the kind where everything that happens was going to happen? Or is it the kind of time travel where butterfly effect, you start sending text messages to random people and you adversely affect the entire future?
I mean, the thing is, I know from you that he needs to get together with our mom and then not break up. So I thought we were going to try to matchmake a little bit. And so I'm just going for it because based on what I saw in the bar, Biff is not great with the talking to people. And I just thought I would, give him a little bit of a wingman thing, right? Like, I'm not speaking for him. I'm specifically choosing to speak as a friend who took his phone and just say, hey, he's a really good guy. You should give him a chance, and then hopefully whichever one is our mom, they would have hit it off anyway, but I'm encouraging her to have good feelings going in. No, nothing could go wrong with this, obviously.
I'm so here for this.
Yeah. It's a good thing you left me alone to handle this situation with no advice or input whatsoever on how I went about it. So yeah, I send those messages and then I want to do the same little portal trick to just put it back on the bar.
Okay. That's not a problem. Let's see. God, I really want to roll some dice and see what the randomness could add to this, but I don't know exactly what move it would go with.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of dice rolling moves, actually.
Well, I mean, if you were directly interacting with people, I would say we would roll provoke, but you've directly interacted with 3 NPCs in exactly the same manner.
I mean, the thing is that just gives you freedom to do all kinds of nasty things to us if you want to, or nice things. You could do nice things. But how about this? I'll assess the situation.
We'll see. You've given us phone back. So
what I was actually thinking, if this works for you, Pearl, was doing a provoke, because like you said, you're thinking it's probably Jade, but let me cover my bases. What if that's actually at least the target of the roll?
That could work.
To provoke.
I always forget the basic role. The basic moves exist. Basically, is what happens. I know what my moves are, but I just forget that the other ones.
So you're thinking of pushing it toward a provoke to get together with Jada.
I actually would have retroactively wanted to assess the situation with the phone and see if I could have found a little bit more information, and then maybe provoked someone as well.
Well, we can backtrack a little bit for this. I mean, this is an
I apologize.
situation. No problem.
I forgot.
Give me an assess the situation roll.
Okay, so that's plus superior.
Yes.
Do I have anything that I don't have any conditions that hurt that? Amazingly, and my superior is 2. All right, let's hope for the best. So I have a 9, unless I want to spend a team.
You can spend a team selfishly. Nobody else is in a position to help you right now.
Yeah. I don't know if ignoring my teammates just because they took off without me. I don't know if that exists, but all right.
You can totally ignore them. And what happens is you can, when you do that, you take one team, you shift one of your own labels up or down, your choice.
I don't think I need to because the rest of the questions are about threats. I'm just going to use the first one. Okay. What here can I use to find useful information about Biff? Actually useful information.
Well, you can certainly take a look beyond the dating apps on his phone and see what other stuff he's using. Because just like everybody else, he's got a bunch of stuff on his phone that represents the kind of interest he has, the kind of stuff he likes to look at, find out about, watch. There's all sorts of little apps on there that he uses to do stuff that he thinks is interesting or fun.
Okay. A relatively vague answer, but okay.
Well, basically, you can look at these apps and they'll give you a list of the stuff that he does if you want to find out about him and his interests. You can just pop a bunch of those apps open and look and see what he's been doing.
Okay. Before I open we're still flashing back to before. Before I open the meet.com one, I would like to do that with his phone and see if I can identify enough interests or things that I can then look at the profiles of the different.
Okay, we're now moving into Pierce's mask, and you get a +1 because you're acting on that answer that you got from assess the situation.
Okay. But I'm at a
now-
-2 for mundane, so I have
Yep.
a -1.
Yep. And do you have any other things that might add to
You're
that?
angry. So you take an additional -2. Can you get more than a -3? I'm trying to remember the.
-3 is as low as it gets. You can't get higher than a +4 or lower than a -3 on any particular roll.
So everything added all together is a -3.
So really assessing the situation has hurt me because this is going to be a failed roll. So,
Not necessarily. You got a +1, and so that's better than it could have been.
You might get potential.
Yeah.
it's still -3, I think, though, because I have like -4 otherwise. So we're at -3
Let's give it a shot.
on an 11. So that's the best roll I've ever had in like my history of the Gauntlet.
Hey, that's cool. You get to ask one question.
So an 8 on piercing the mask. Although I don't know which of those questions.
Well, two.
How
of
could
them
I get your character to go on a date? Not with you, but with.
Yeah.
That's
Or
what
how-
you're trying to find out.
my character to how can I get Biff to make a positive move towards the right person?
Ooh, that's going to be tricky because we're also having to evaluate who the right person is. But I think
get to
if
roll
you
it.
can put them together, like matching up like their common interests, and those three have already at least expressed some sort of interest in Biff as someone to potentially date. Like all three of those have. You can see their chat history on that app. So if one of those you get, since he's been basically talking back and forth with all three of them, if one of them expressed more interest than the other, if you could draw that out, that would probably make Biff hopefully make Biff focus on one, which makes it much more likely that he would actually like have a positive outcome, because you know shifting your attention between multiple people all the time is perfectly cool if everybody's okay, if everybody involved is okay with that, but that generally isn't going to lead you to a lasting relationship with anybody.
Okay, so then having looked through his phone at all the other apps that you encouraged me to look at,
Mhm.
and ascertained hopefully something about his interests, and having read all the messages and looked at their profiles, which woman, I feel like I've rolled enough to be able to ask this before sending the message, which woman is the one where enough interests line up and they seem interested enough?
Of course it's Becky.
God damn it. Chris. Fine. So I'm going to send a message to just Becky with the same essential message that I was sending originally to all three.
Okay. All right. You are in a position to do that with no trouble. The message is sent, and we'll see. Do you want to wait and see if she replies or what she replies, or do you want to just get the phone back to him so he can interact with it?
I'll wait a few minutes to see if she replies just so I can read it. I don't think I'm going to respond again because like I have to let them make the connection. I can't be just like his friend texting this girl, but I would like to read the response so that I can get a sense for whether what I did helped or harmed the situation in case I have to mitigate it.
Okay. Let's see. I think about like a 5 or maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, because it's getting dark over here in the Netherlands. So back stateside, this is really late. So you're looking at 5 or 10 minutes. There's a reply through the app. It does a little pop-up notice, and the pop-up notice is like a happy little like waving hand. And you open the message, and it's from Becky. and it says, that's pretty weird. Sending messages from your friend's phone, even if you're well-meaning, is kind of an odd thing to do. Maybe you should let Biff talk to me. Like that's pretty creepy. Maybe you should let Biff do his own messaging.
I'm gonna stick to the mission by defending someone or something critically important to the future. And I can mark yet another condition. Milo, shift one level down and shift up Savior before that roll. So
this is the most interesting defend I've ever gotten to interact with. Let's see how that plays out.
So I'm shifting up Savior. Is that right? So up to 2.
Yeah, if you're rolling defend, yes. So let's see let's make sure defend gives you what you want out of it. Now, the defend options that you can achieve through a defend move for a non-player threat is add a team to the pool, take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition. Now, are either of those 3 things kind of what you're looking to do?
I'd like to have influence over this woman.
Okay. Now, do you think you're trying? Okay. Now, do you think you're trying to defend, like, defend either yourself or Biff from her, from her opinion, or do you think you're trying to convince or provoke her to give Biff a chance?
I don't know. I haven't thought this through enough.
This is tricky. Like I said, defend is usually like, I'm going to rescue this person from this bad thing that's about to happen. It doesn't really involve convincing people to do stuff necessarily.
I didn't know if stick to the mission was its own special thing, or if it just was like.
Well, wait. Let me take a look at that particular move. Hold on. That's on the join playbook or the Harbinger?
Harbinger.
All right. Let me pull that one up because I had both of those up just in case. Okay.
So I guess it's just the defend move.
All right. Yeah, that is. Yeah, when you defend someone or something, yeah, that's more of a, like, you're trying to keep someone from getting hurt.
Okay, so instead, I guess I will provoke.
Okay. That would be a roll plus superior. So if you wanted to roll that, what do you happen to have guilty marked?
I do not.
Okay, then you don't suffer any negatives for that.
So, and I have 2 superior, I think so. So I get an 8 on that, and on an NPC. They do rise to the bait and do what I want, but then they also can do a thing.
Okay. Now, so on a 7 to 9, they can instead choose one. Let me see.
I don't feel like I should bet 2 of our 3 teams selfishly. That seems awful.
I don't think she's necessarily in a position to overreact. That doesn't seem like it would necessarily fit. I think she's feeling awkward, so I think she's stumbling. So you would take +1 forward regarding Becky in this situation. You can apply that to your next move regarding this situation with Becky.
All right. So I'm gonna write back one more time. And if this is a roll, I'll take my +1 forward there, and just say, "You're right. This was stupid. I just think that Biff's a really good guy and wanted to help him out, but I'll delete the messages and just let him communicate with you directly."
I don't think you necessarily need to roll a move for that one, because I'd say she was already kind of feeling awkward about it, and you sort of are going along with what she was feeling. If that makes sense.
Trying to.
So you're right.
I'm the awkward one. Biff's great.
And I think that sort of plays into what you had already set up and what the way she was already kind of thinking of it. So I don't think you're going to have to make another roll there.
Awesome.
So she says, "Look, I understand you're his friend." I like this. She messages back, "I understand you're his friend. Friends do stupid things for friends sometimes. It's not a big deal. Have Biff toss me a message when when he gets back."
Okay. Should I delete the messages? No, I don't think I should. I'm just going to put his phone back.
Okay.
And leave it open to that app with those messages showing. And he can be as confused as he wants to be about how that happened, but he will see, and he can delete them and message her himself, but he'll know that this took place.
He might be drunk enough to think he actually sent the messages.
Maybe I should close the app after all.
It's like, man, I get devious when I'm drunk.
All right. I'm actually going to close the app, but I'm going to send the phone back, and he can deal with it later.
Okay. I think we got that. Anything else you want to do down here with Biff, or do you think it's a good time to close this scene?
I think we can close this scene. I don't want to take up too much of our game with just my machinations. Although if Vince is away for a moment, I could try to talk to Biff a smidge, or see if anyone comes down drunkenly. If anyone wants to have become inebriated enough to forget they shouldn't be wandering around in public underage and drunk.
Let's pull back from you for a second. Let's see how things are going upstairs. We already know that Taurus has staggered off to the bathroom, like with a really pale face and like making unfortunate noises deep in his throat. So that's probably not going to end well. So right now we've got Jack, Flash, and Igniter, Archie in there. Archie, how do you think that beer worked?
Like I said, I think it's pretty much like psychosomatic. Like there's nothing actually affecting him, but he's like, "Oh, I feel really drunk right now." I've never drank so much.
Now, Jack, how do you think? How is Jack taking the liquor here? Like, is she like really trying to get completely blasted, or is she sort of taking her time and enjoying kind of the soft buzz? Like,
I think she needed to get pretty blasted to sort of respond to Taurus's blinginess and like be comfortable with that, I guess. Certainly not used to that kind of, yeah. But I think now that Taurus has gone to throw up, she is just like she's just sort of looks at Archie and you want to go check on him, or should I?
I'll go check on him. Make sure he's okay.
All right.
He can't hold his liquor like I can.
You're the man, Archie.
okay,
So,
it's a little cramped making your way to where the restroom is, because this, like I said, these aren't big hotel rooms.
Yeah.
But you can actually get over there. You hear some unfortunate noises from inside there.
Taurus, you still alive in there?
I'm so stupid. I'm stupid. I can't believe I did a stupid thing.
You're not stupid. You're awesome. You like teleport around and punch people. That's amazing.
Archie, I have made the biggest mistake. Oh my God, is Jack out there? Can Jack hear me? Because I don't want Jack to hear me right now.
Archie, tell him. What's he say? Tell him to clean up and get out here.
Jeez.
Don't tell Jack anything that's going on. Shh, Archie, come here.
She can't hear you.
Okay, good. Because here's the thing. I always thought you were a monster, but you're not. You're not. You're really great. And the thing is, Jack's the real monster. Jack monster. Jack like messes with your head. It's like, oh gosh. Oh, I've messed up everything. I don't know if I have time to fix it. I'm gonna need your help.
What do you mean?
Archie.
Jack's fine.
I mean, like, Jack's fine now. Jack's cool now, but like,
Yeah.
oh, I've like everything. It's just I've gotten everything wrong, and I think Jack's gonna blame everything on you. I think that's what happened, and I think I'm trying to connect the dots again.
Oh yes,
now-
roll it again. Roll
Yeah.
it again. You now roll it plus. You now roll it a 0, I think.
Yeah. And I got a 9 on the die.
Oh, you get to actually
Right, you go to
make some
bed.
decisions about that.
Yep. Let's see here. On a hit, you connect who they are now to who they are in the future. Choose the role they fulfill in the future, and the GM will tell you about their future self. On a 10 plus, ask a follow-up question. So I think that things are starting to come into alignment, and I think that Archie is the martyr.
I think that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think your mind is the alcohol seems to help a little clarity wise. You can make of that what you will, but you're looking up into Archie's eyes, and it sort of, you see that fade into that deep part of your memory where you can get past all the broken pieces of your recollection, and you see like Jack manipulating every piece of footage they can to make it look like every bad thing that Jack had done and masterminded was done by Archie. And you also see Jack convincing Archie that he had done that through all the videos. Like you see it just destroys Archie. Like he as an adult, he just, after that deep betrayal by Jack, he just basically buried himself and like went, dug. It looked like he just went straight to the center of the earth. Like he just faded straight down into the ground, and nobody heard from him again, as far as you can recall.
I love that we've taken the catalyst for all of this huge dark turn in our whole campaign is Jack being like, let's get drunk in our hotel room.
This is exactly what your parents told you would happen if you went out and got drunk.
I think you're just overthinking it, Taurus. Like, it can't be that bad. We always, when
Look, you have an important destiny to fulfill, and I'm gonna help you fulfill it. I thought you were gonna be doing some terrible things, but you're gonna do some great things, and and I want to be there. And I hope that I'm the kind of person who you would want to be there when you do those great things.
That sounds great, Taurus.
All right. Well, I'm marking potential.
Yeah. We'll be a good team together.
Oh, I'm so close to getting an advance.
Okay, and I think at this point, Jewel, you have just teleported that phone back. You had settled back and thought, "Oh, God, okay, I think I might have gotten something done there." And then you get that twin tingle. You're like,
Yeah.
"Geez,
I think
oh,
I go.
that doesn't feel right." So Jack's, ooh, he's sick.
Yeah, and I already didn't think good things were coming from this situation anyway, and have done all I was going to be able to do downstairs. So I'm going to look sort of around the hallway and just teleport straight into their room.
Okay. You were up. You've been up there before because honestly, that's your room.
Right.
So you're teleporting back to your room.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. All of a sudden, like, just I guess where do you appear in the room? Like next to your bed, like on your bed?
I think on the bed, like cross-legged.
Okay. Let's see. Jack, do you think you were sitting on your bed or on her bed? There are two like double beds in this room.
Ooh, good question. I feel like she was kind of sprawled out between the two.
Okay. All right.
Are they next to each
Jewel.
But there's definitely a space, and she's sort of like slumped in the space between, but like part of her, like she's sort of hanging on to both.
Okay.
And she's like, she sort of falls through when she moves and looks up to see Jewel there, and she says, "Sappho's here! Hey! How's Biff?"
You know, Biffy. What's been
Oh,
going
yeah.
on up here? I don't see Taurus anywhere. Everything all right?
Taurus can't hold his shit, and
Oh, Jesus.
Age
she's
is
checking
worried a
in
little
on
too
him.
much.
I think Taurus burst out through the bathroom door. He's wipes his mouth and comes and just like gives a big hug to Sappho. I missed you so much.
He's been like that all night. Don't worry. He's been
But-
like that all night.
Sappho is a big softie for Vector / Taurus. And is like, "Oh, it's all right, buddy. I missed you too." And like sort of curls around him and lets him drunkenly loll on her shoulder, even though he smells all gross. He's like rubs his back and is like, "Are you all right?"
And in that moment, in like complete dead seriousness, he says, "What did you find out about Biff?"
And at that point, I think it's a good spot for us to break for tonight. We'll leave it on that cliffhanger.
Exciting.
Yeah.
'Cause, that gives us some time to do our end of session moves and see kind of where folks are interested in taking things for next time with a few stars and wishes, if that's okay with everybody.
Sure.
Okay, let's look at our end of session moves, and we'll go left to right on the character keeper. If Alex, if you're comfortable with starting us off with the end of session moves.
Yeah, let me just okay, I found it.
Okay.
Um,
Did you go closer to the team, away from the team, or into your own image of yourself?
I think I grew closer to the team.
I
Felt
can agree
like-
with that.
I felt, I felt way more welcome and like part of the team and connected with everybody else in a good way than I did last time. I could credit a couple people, but I think I'm going to credit Taurus. And it basically doesn't matter because basically whoever I credit gets influence over me and everybody already has influence over me. So like, I mean, I also give credit to Archie, not so much to Jewel.
Well, who do you want to shift your labels?
I want Taurus to shift my labels.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh.
and
Oh yeah, okay.
And you also get to mark potential or clear a condition.
Right. I'll mark potential.
yeah, and the shift I want to push on you. I definitely see you as more of a danger and less of a savior than I did before.
Oh,
those
yeah.
are definitely the shifts that I'm making.
Zero both of those out.
Okay. All right. Moving along. Next, we go to Igniter. Archie, how are you? How are you feeling? Closer to the team?
Definitely closer to the team. And I would say probably Jack Flash is the one that made me feel closer to the team. You know,
And Jack already had influence over you, correct?
yep.
Okay, Jack, how do you want to shift it? Archie's labels.
Okay. I want to shift Freak down and Mundane up, I think. I think that's the obvious one, but I like it.
Sounds reasonable to me. Okay, and did you choose to mark potential or clear a condition, Archie?
I'm gonna keep my condition for right now, so I'm gonna mark potential.
Sound decision. Okay, and we go to next in our character keeper. I believe that is the joined. How does Jewel feel? Is she closer to the team, more into an image of herself, or away from the team?
I think actually she's probably closer to the team, not necessarily as much towards Jack as towards everyone else, but we did like pull off this big thing together against the monster thing in the beginning, you know, and like even though they all went and drank without me, like, you know, I'm the one who chose to abstain. It's not their fault. And in my mind, Jewel is really very attached to Vector because they're the same person, but like he didn't get to have the life that she had. And so she feels like both really bonded and really protective. And then we gained a new team member who she's wanting to welcome. So I would say definitely towards the team.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
who do you want to? Who made you feel the most welcome?
Vector, because he comforted me after our big showdown, and I was so scared.
Okay, then I think seeing that I already have influence, that means I get to shift your labels. And I think I'm going to shift your superior up because I think that you're stronger to stick to what was supposed to be our mission than I was.
Okay.
And shift your, it's going to either be Freak or Danger down. But I think Freak.
Okay. Gives me an interesting set of stats.
Yeah, not that far
Oh,
down.
wait. Oops. There we go.
Okay, and you also get to clear a condition or mark potential.
Got a lot of conditions.
I only have 2 now, actually. I thought I was going to have like all of them by the end, but we cleared at least 1. I think I want the potential, actually.
Nice.
Because I can break something or run away next time.
Okay. All right, and I think that brings us to our Harbinger. What is Vector? What's his position? Closer to the team, away from the team, or into his own image of himself?
Oh, it's so tough because I feel I'm much further away from Jack, but I'm much closer to Archie. But I think I'll take it as growing closer. Like I'm getting more of a sense of purpose now that I'm getting a better sense of who everybody is, and that's really more thanks to Archie.
Okay. Does Archie already have influence over you?
Archie does.
Now Archie gets to shift your labels. Archie, what do you think about Vector right now?
What are Vector's labels right now? So, Well, I think from what he was saying at the end, probably shift the Savior up.
Okay.
And Superior down? Does that work for you?
That makes sense.
Yeah. He didn't quite know as much as he thought he did, but he definitely has a outlook to help people in the future.
Cool. And that is going to push me up to 5 potential. I'll think about it between now and then.
Yeah, if you can just let me know when we start up next time, or let me know in the chat or in the email, however you want to do it.
Yeah, it'll probably be taking another move, but I want to look through my options.
Oh, always take another move. Those are those are way more fun than taking like a +1 to a label.
Yeah. I mean, but also the permanently losing influence over me. I think it'd be interesting to have Jack permanently lose influence over me. So I'll think about it. I'll think about some options.
That's a strong choice.
Yeah,
that would make all those interactions a lot more awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Now, if everybody is okay, we could do a quick like stars and wishes, things you want to see next time, or things you enjoyed about this session. How's everybody for time?
I'm okay. Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll kind of go the opposite direction for this, Vince, because I know you got the baby in the background there, and you might need to leave sooner than everybody else. So if you want to go first with your stars, things that you like from this session, and wishes, things that you would like to see happen for next time.
Yeah, I always enjoy these kinds of sessions with masks, actually a lot more than the action ones. So I'm really loving seeing how everybody is coming to their own with their characters and bringing in some stuff that we expected and some stuff that we didn't expect, and throwing curveballs at each other to get everybody out of their comfort zones. So it's really exciting to see that develop, and I just want to see more of it. I'd say the one wish that I have, I do want to start to get a bit more of a feel for some of the folks that are outside of our team. So yeah, if we can have some opportunities to find, like adults who automatically have influence over us, who are trying to shape us into what they think we're supposed to be, I think that'd be exciting.
Okay, so you'd like to see some more like general interactions for adults and things like that. I think that would definitely work for when you guys get back into New Gauntlet City from your excursion, if that would be okay. All right, or random people from the Netherlands. We'll see. Okay, let's keep going in that direction. Pearl, what are your stars and wishes?
Stars to everyone. Characters continue to be engaging and infuriating and all the best things. And to everyone for both sticking with sort of their character concepts and with their roles, just taking things as they come. We found some new things happening this session. So yeah, stars to everyone, including you, Chris, for this being bananas the whole time. Apologies if my giant cell phone heist scene took like half the game. That was not my intention. So one of my wishes is if people could remind me to do basic moves when they come up. This is like a problem for me every time I play games with a bunch of basic moves and then also character specific moves. It's just like I spend so much time studying the playbook, and then so that would be a wish for me, is either for me to remember them or for people to remind me. I also I mentioned this to Vincent when we were talking before the game, but it's important to me for the sake of later, whatever way the narrative goes, at some point we're probably going to have to part ways. Like, if things go badly, we disappear. If things go properly, we go back to our timelines or something else. But for us to build a bond between the two of us that feels important enough that when that bond is at stake for good or bad reasons, it has some like dramatic heft to it. Weight, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would like to see the joined being more joiny to some degree. And I can't wait to see Alex's monsterness and what the path towards that is, and whether or not we can avert some martyrdom and all that.
Yeah, to kind of bounce off of that, and Chris, we'll follow up with you during the week about it. But I think one of the things that Pearl and I are aiming for is to get like that catalyst of like realizing that both of our futures can't happen, and that we've made some big misjudgments coming back here. We want to, like, if it's okay with other folks, have that be kind of our climactic point at the end of next session, so that we have something to spiral out of control with in the final one.
I think we can probably work that in at some point. I mean, that seems to be like one of the central points between the two of you. So if you want to like discuss that on the Hangouts chat, that'd be great. If you want to email back and forth, that's fine too. However is easiest for y'all to do it. I'm perfectly happy with trying to work all that in, understand I've also got to kind of spread some of the crazy spotlight around a little bit so that we get to see whether Igniter and Jack really turn into monsters and martyrs, or if they end up saving themselves. Speaking of Igniter, John, what do you think?
So I'm going to give my star to that cell phone scene, the cell phone heist, because I really enjoyed that. I can't wait for Jewel to find out that Becky is her mom. And yeah, I thought it was like it really was good to spend a little bit of extra time with it. Too often, I feel like they try and jump to, and it's good to make sure everyone's engaged. But I really appreciated taking that extra time because it seems like a major part of both of their stories. So it made sense in that way. And for wishes, I kind of want to see more of our NPCs tied in, like the things that we created to come into play a little bit more. And we got 2 more sessions, so we'll see where it goes.
All right. Stars to everybody. Good for just like excellent role play. Like really, just like I felt like the in-character conversations were just like really good and flowed really well, and just had really good stuff in there. And star in particular to Chris for just a devastating 1-2 punch with those describing the results of those successive memories rolls. I am, yeah. And like my wish is definitely, I want to explore more of that, and ties into. I also want to see more of the NPCs, especially as we like explore these two conflicting explore and find out more about these two conflicting futures. Which, I know you say you want to spread out the craziness, but like also it seems like you've managed to bring Jack and Archie into the fold of that craziness pretty definitively. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to explore more of that. And Jack's possible descent into villainy. Although I did note one of the lines we have that feel like I'll want to talk to people about off camera, just to make sure of being careful around that.
Okay, I got you. All right. Does anybody have any more stars and wishes before we go off camera? And then Alex, we can certainly touch base about the other thing once we're off camera.
My only quick thing, because I hate the way you can't format in the chat and it just looks like these giant balls of text, is that something I wrote that looks like a giant ball of text, is that when I was talking about deepening the bond between Jewel and Vector, I don't necessarily mean like we need to have a bunch of scenes of us. I think it could very much just be in our reactions to things that happen. So it could be a scene between, like, keep mixing up player names, and between Archie and Jack, for example, where like the bulk of the scene is them, and then like Vincent and I would like share, or Vector and I would like share a meaningful look or have a very short conversation. And I think that could be as much deepening the bond as anything else, because I really do want to see everybody's character arcs played out and deepening. And it's hard when we have so many good ones. Like, everybody's story is interesting. I want them all to be spin-offs.
I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm going to close the broadcast here. Everybody who's watching, thanks for watching. I hope you come back and catch the rest of this. It can only get crazier from here. And good night, everybody. I'm going to close the broadcast for us. Good night.